Every single day, we throw things away without thinking. We clear land for farms. We bring animals with us when we travel. We change ecosystems just to make life easier. But what if I told you that these ordinary human actions once erased an entire species from the Earth forever? This is not fiction. This is the shocking true story of the dodo bird, an animal that survived for millions of years only to disappear within less than a century of meeting humans. The dodo, scientifically known as Rhophis cucullatus, lived on a small island in the Indian Ocean called Mauritius. Mauritius is about 2,000 kilometers off the southeast coast of Africa. Before humans arrived, the island had no native land mammals, no monkeys, no dogs, no pigs, no humans. The dodo evolved in complete isolation. For millions of years, it had no natural predators. Because of that isolation, the dodo did not need to fly. Over time, it lost the ability to fly completely. It grew to about 1 meter tall, roughly 3 feet. It weighed between 10 to 18 kilograms, around 22 to 40 pounds. It had strong legs, a large hooked beak, and small wings that could not lift its body. Most importantly, it had no fear of humans, because it had never seen one before. Now here's the first key point. Isolation created vulnerability. In 1598, Dutch sailors landed on Mauritius. They were among the first recorded humans to set foot on the island. When they arrived, they found a bird that did not run away, a bird that did not attack, a bird that did not fly. Sailors described the dodo as easy to catch. Some reports say they could simply walk up and grab it. Imagine encountering an animal that trusts you completely because it has no idea you are dangerous. But the real tragedy did not begin with hunting alone. The second key point is invasive species. When the Dutch arrived, they did not come alone. Their ships carried rats. They brought pigs, goats, and monkeys to the island. These animals were not native to Mauritius. The dodo laid its eggs on the ground, usually just 1 egg at a time, only 1. That means the population could not grow quickly. Now imagine rats eating the eggs, pigs trampling nests, monkeys stealing food, goats destroying vegetation. Within decades, the dodo faced multiple threats at once. Humans hunted them for meat. Introduced animals destroyed their nests. Forests were cleared for settlements and farming. The dodo's habitat shrank rapidly. Unlike birds that produce many eggs per year, the dodo's slow reproduction rate made recovery almost impossible. Here is a shocking comparison. Scientists estimate that from the time humans arrived in 1598 to the last widely accepted sighting in 1662, less than 70 years passed. 70 years. That is shorter than the average human lifespan in many countries today. A species that evolved over millions of years vanished in less than a century. Think about that. If your grandparents had seen the first humans land on Mauritius, your parents might have witnessed the extinction. The third key point is how human misunderstanding and neglect accelerated extinction.
Many early sailors did not even value the dodo highly as food. Some reports describe the meat as tough, yet they hunted the bird because it was easy. It was convenient. It required no effort. That convenience mattered. In history, convenience has often shaped human behavior more than necessity. But the biggest damage was indirect. Clearing forests destroyed the dodo's natural feeding grounds. The bird likely fed on fruits, seeds, and possibly small invertebrates. Some researchers believe it played an important role in seed dispersal. One well-known example is the tambalako tree, sometimes called the dodo tree. For years, scientists thought the tree depended on the dodo to help its seeds germinate. Although later research suggests the relationship may not have been exclusive, it shows how deeply connected species can be within an ecosystem. When one species disappears, the impact spreads. By 1662, a shipwrecked sailor reported what is widely considered the last reliable sighting of the dodo. After that, the bird was gone, completely. No photographs exist, no videos. The only evidence we have comes from paintings, written descriptions, and a few preserved bones and fragments. Most museum specimens were lost or destroyed over time. Today, only partial remains survive in museums across Europe. The dodo became extinct around 1681, according to most scientific estimates, less than 100 years after its first contact with humans. Now, here is the twist. The dodo was not stupid. For centuries, the word dodo became an insult. People used it to describe someone foolish or slow. But modern research shows the dodo's brain size relative to its body was similar to that of pigeons. Pigeons are intelligent birds, capable of complex navigation and learning. The dodo was not stupid. It was simply adapted to a world without predators. Evolution does not prepare species for sudden, globalized human expansion. The dodo was perfectly designed for Mauritius before 1598. It failed only because the environment changed too fast. Let's put this into a global perspective. Since the year 1500, scientists estimate that over 900 species have gone extinct due to human activity. Many experts believe the real number is much higher. The International Union for Conservation of Nature reports that more than 44,000 species are currently threatened with extinction. That includes mammals, birds, amphibians, and plants. The dodo was one of the first widely documented human-caused extinctions. It became a symbol. In fact, the phrase "dead as a dodo" entered the English language by the 18th century. The bird's extinction helped scientists later understand the concept of irreversible biodiversity loss. And here is something even more shocking. At the time of its extinction, no one fully understood what extinction meant. The scientific concept of extinction was not widely accepted until the late 18th and early 19th centuries. When the dodo disappeared, people did not organize conservation efforts. They did not conduct environmental impact studies. They did not track population numbers. They simply moved on. Imagine a world where a species vanishes and people barely notice.
Today, conservation science uses data, satellite monitoring, breeding programs, and international laws to prevent similar losses. But in the 1600s, there were no wildlife protection acts, no environmental agencies, no global awareness. The dodo's extinction teaches three powerful lessons. First, isolation can make species fragile. When animals evolve without predators, they are unprepared for sudden change. Second, invasive species can be as destructive as direct hunting. Rats and pigs may have caused more long-term damage to the dodo population than sailors with weapons. Third, rapid human expansion can permanently alter ecosystems in a very short time. Less than 70 years was enough to erase millions of years of evolution. Now ask yourself, how many species today are in the same position the dodo was in 1598? Islands around the world still host unique species that evolved in isolation. Madagascar alone contains thousands of endemic species found nowhere else on Earth. Pacific Islands face similar risks. Climate change, habitat destruction, and invasive species continue to threaten biodiversity. The difference is this: we now know the consequences. The dodo cannot be brought back. There are scientific discussions about de-extinction and genetic engineering, but no complete DNA sample exists to recreate the species fully. Even if it were possible, its original habitat has changed dramatically. The forests of Mauritius today are not the untouched ecosystems of the 1500s. Extinction is permanent. When the last dodo died, it did not know it was the last of its kind. There was no dramatic moment, no global announcement. just silence. One final heartbeat of a species that trusted humans too much. And that may be the most emotional part of this story. The dodo did not fight back. It did not adapt in time. It simply existed in the wrong place at the wrong moment in human history. Today, the image of the dodo appears in books, logos, and cartoons. It has become a cultural icon. But behind that cartoon image lies a real biological tragedy, a warning written in bones. If a species can survive millions of years and disappear in less than 100, what does that say about the power we hold? The story of the dodo is not just about one bird. It is about responsibility. It is about how small daily actions, transporting animals, clearing land, hunting for convenience, can combine into irreversible change. We cannot change what happened in Mauritius in the 1600s, but we can decide what happens next. So here is my question for you. Do you think humanity has truly learned from the dodo's extinction, or are we repeating the same mistakes today? Comment below with your thoughts. If you care about real historical stories that reveal uncomfortable truths about our world, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Share this video with someone who thinks extinction is just a word in a textbook, because the dodo was real, its disappearance was real, and the next extinction story is being written right now. History does not always shout. Sometimes it whispers in the silence left behind by a bird that once walked freely on an island called Mauritius.